Welcome to Healthy Homes Heating Special, and in this episode we hope to help you assess the condition of the house you live in, with a focus on the health of the people living in the house and help to identify areas which may benefit from improvement. There's a large body of evidence that suggests that there's a link between cold housing and ill health in Dunedin. Now let's hear what the problem is.
Well, I guess in terms of perceptions of warmth, the thing which has come out in our study is that New Zealanders in general and people in Dunedin don't realise they're living in cold homes.
Dunedin was one of the first cities settled, so we've clearly got old building stock.
The climate here is in the winter time is cool, very cool. A lot of the homes aren't all that well insulated. Some of them date back to last century.
And also the topography of Dunedin. So there are a reasonable number of houses that are in shady areas.
Dunedin has an interesting topography, which means you can be anywhere and be beautifully sunny, but you can also have quite a bit of shade. We're working in a community of houses that are rather old, which when they were originally built were never built with any form of insulation in them.
Certain parts of Dunedin, South Dunedin, Mosgiel, they have a very high water table. So if you don't insulate underneath, you heat your home, and your home actually becomes almost like a wick. It's drawing the moisture up, and you're causing issues.
We're a very hilly city by nature.
Yeah, a lot of houses in Dunedin are built on hills, so there's moisture comes runoff off other sections and drainage systems that come into other people's properties.
A lot of them are, old windows that are not double glazed, that have got, cool drafts coming through them. They're not sealed very well, or that it's a high ceiling, high studs, hard to heat.
We've put a bit of research into it, and collated research actually, which shows us around 18,800 homes within just the Dunedin area, which goes out to Middlemarch, that aren't insulated and have inadequate heating in them.
So there's a lot of very old homes, no external insulation in the external walls, single glazed, built not to the sun, built to the street.
We surround a harbour, which means a lot of the homes naturally aren't going to be getting as many hours of sun.
Older homes, I guess it's just they're so poorly insulated and cold, and then they get the damp as well.
And there might be a hallway that's open plan, that they want to trap the air down the hallway and away from their living areas.
So you might have all of the utility areas facing the sun, because perhaps the view's better out the other way, I don't know, but certainly it's ridiculous to have the warmest room in the house being the toilet.
So yes, New Zealanders don't realise how bad their homes are compared to many much colder places overseas.
Things like dampness and cold have been shown to poorly affect people's health. The World Health Organization has some recommended minimum indoor temperatures, which is 18 degrees Celsius, and if you've got children, elderly people or anyone who's unwell, they actually recommend a higher temperature of a minimum of 20 degrees Celsius. And they also recommend a minimum bedtime temperature overnight of 16 degrees. And so basically most houses in New Zealand wouldn't reach those minimums.
If you put a temperature gauge in any homes in Dunedin, you're probably going to find they're around 11, if not less. And in winter we're looking at worse than that, and some homes terribly worse.
We've often measured temperatures, as I said, as low as 2 degrees.
And there's evidence to suggest that if you are living in an indoor environment below those recommended minimums, that your health could be at risk.
Once you get below 12 degrees, then you have serious risks of heart attacks and such problems. So 12 degrees is really the absolute minimum, but 18 degrees is something which is recommended for healthy living. And it doesn't happen very often in Dunedin, unfortunately.
I think the real challenge for people is that they've got limited income, is the choices that they have to make. So the people that are really struggling financially, they don't want to spend a huge amount of money on electricity to heat their house. So they tend to heat one room. And we've certainly had families report to us that actually in the wintertime they move everybody into the lounge to sleep because that's the warmest room, and that's the way they can maintain some degree of warmth for their kids when they're sleeping.
Well, the focus of public health is to try and create environments that promote health and stop people from getting ill in the first place, and so that's why the public health unit is involved in healthy housing.
There's research that shows that you warm up people's homes and you can reduce the amount of hospital admissions there are, you can reduce the amount of days off school children have, you can reduce basically the amount of days off work people have. We can make our homes healthier and warmer, and we can make our communities healthier because of that. And it's not just about putting insulation in your roof space, or putting it underneath or putting draft spots on. It's being educated and changing a bit of a culture that we have in Dunedin, which is often, oh, it's cold, oh, I'll put on a hat, or I'll just put on my gloves, or I'll just stick on another jumper, so what, it'll save money. But that's actually not the right approach, because then you're living in very cold environments which you're breathing into your lungs, which isn't actually necessarily that great for you.
There's clear evidence that if you're living in a warm house, in the wintertime in particular, you're less likely to succumb to respiratory conditions.
So asthma, allergies, chest infections, that sort of thing. And actually in New Zealand, every winter there's a lot more deaths during the winter months than there are compared to summer months, and a lot of this is put down to perhaps living in cold, damp environments inside. Especially in people over 80 and children under 5. They're the most susceptible.
So you've got an increase in tuberculosis, you've got an increase in rheumatic fever. They're both diseases that we actually virtually got rid of in this country.
There are several health effects. Philippa Howden Chapman in Wellington's worked with me with children on asthma. It exacerbates asthma. It means that you've got more days off school. You've got more visits to the doctor. If you're old, you can. People die more often of heart-related diseases during the winter. New Zealand's got quite a high what's called seasonal mortality. A lot more people die in the winter than in the summer. And it's proportional in temperature, so you can show that quite easily. That occurs right across New Zealand, even in Auckland. So. That's a problem. So there's lots of reasons why we should have warm homes.
After the break on Healthy Homes, we offer you some advice on how to assess if your house is healthy, and later on we offer you some heating solutions. Pellet fires are growing in popularity in Otago, with people who want a clean and efficient form of home heating. The sight of a burning flame without the problems of chopping, stacking and carting wood around is a winner. Pellet fires, so easy, so efficient. Davies Heat & Cool have a proud tradition of delivering world-class heating, ventilation and air conditioning solutions to residential and commercial clients in Dunedin. Family owned and operated, heating Dunedin for over 100 years. Davies Heat & Cool. Active Furnishers Limited, home of quality service with superior product, and an in-house design team who are always happy to advise and create an imaginative solution for you. Active Furnishers Limited, part of Dunedin's design history. For over 35 years, Roslyn Mowers and Heating have been selling and servicing outdoor power equipment and are well established in home heating, installing wood fires. Call in and meet the friendly team. Roslyn Mowers and Heating, 150 Kaikorai Valley Road. Now here's some tips and hints for healthy homes.
Heating a home is, the best way to heat a home is a bit like a best car. There is no best car and there's no best way of heating your home. It's different types of heating for different people. And that's it's a matter of listening to people and finding out what it is they're trying to do, the area they're trying to heat and the way in which they live in their home.
There are some things that can be done to improve, particularly people with very little discretionary funds in terms of their living circumstances. So too many people paying far too much in terms of their electricity bills just to keep a small part of their house warm in the winter. And that's something that I think we need to all see if there's a way of solving. And so it's been fantastic that there's now a Cosy Homes initiative in Dunedin.
Yeah, Cosy Homes is all about being warm and cosy, and it's a really amazing vision of warm and cosy homes in Dunedin by 2025.
It's bringing together all the key players really that have or might have a role in contributing to all of Dunedin homes being insulated or being cosy and warm by 2025.
When you're looking at heating, I draw an analogy of a bucket. If you've got a bucket and the bucket's full of water, then it's warm, and if it's empty, then it's cold. So what you're trying to do is obviously fill the bucket up. But most buckets in Dunedin, most homes in Dunedin, have holes in the bottom. Okay, so you can either pour in lots and lots of water, or you can actually fill in some of the holes.
One thing we found in terms of ventilation is that Dunedin houses are fairly leaky. Old homes have gaps around the floorboards, the windows. We have a test called a blower door test, where we stick a big blower in the door and seal it up and force air out of the building, and sometimes you can see the carpet rising in the living room because of the gaps under the floorboards.
One thing is not going to make your house warm instantly. You need to think about how you are heating it, how your insulative properties in your walls and your ceiling and your underfloor are being treated, how your windows are being treated. There's no point buying a flash fire if you haven't got the insulative properties to keep the heat in.
Just poor insulation, single glazed windows, no insulation in the walls.
But don't be persuaded if you can see a little glimmer of fiberglass bat sitting there that your house is insulated. If it was done 30, 40 years ago, it's no longer going to be fit for purpose. It'll be this thin and not actually delivering.
Just walk around your home and see what's happening. One of the first things you can do is actually shut all your windows, shut your curtains, shut your blinds. Actually have a wee look if they're moving, because if there's a draft coming through, sometimes if it's a still night you're not going to notice, but if it's a bit of a more windy night, if there's a draft coming through, you might actually see the curtains billowing or the blinds slightly moving, and that's going to tell you instantly that you've got a bit of an issue. Or you might be sitting in your lounge and you might sort of feel that cool air on your shoulder, and you can feel that draft coming down the hall. So that might be something that you know that, hey, that area can't be closed off to be efficiently heating the lounge or living area, that we need to do something to shut that cool draft off or find out where it's coming from.
Things like curtains, adequate curtains. So no thin flimsy things.
You'd look for what kind of fabric you've got in the first place, and is it realistically enough of a barrier against the air that's coming in.
Actually, pelmets in a house make a big difference, remarkably.
Pelmets are really coming back into fashion, and they're a fantastic thing because they stop the air. You can attach the track up and under the pelmet, and stop that airflow. And if you wrap the curtains around to the side of the track and have them go into the floor, you can really seal off that window.
One of the biggest issues of the lot is dampness, condensation, and the ability to understand the air dynamics in a home and to work out ways of optimising whatever heating source there is in the home, because a wood fire or any other heating source is far more efficient in a dry home than it is in a damp home.
Warm air can hold a larger amount of water than cold air.
I suppose the obvious things would be if there's condensation on the windows, mold, or black or red funny discolorations in the bathroom, musty smells, that sort of thing would tip you off that perhaps, hey, this house isn't as dry as it should be.
When you get water on a wall or moisture on a wall condensing, that's when things start living in it and you get mould and so on. So when you've got condensation, you have a problem.
It's a matter of trying to work out the most effective way of drying the home, and that can be the heat source, but it can also be other issues around proper ventilation.
So the condensation and the mould occurs as a result of both being cold but also damp. So if you can circulate the air.
So this may sound like like it's something you shouldn't do, but you need to. There needs to be a little bit of airflow there to stop any kind of allergens or fungi developing. So they're going to develop in a warm, still environment. So a tiny little, the window open a crack during the day, close it again at night.
And even in the winter, open the windows. Make sure when the things that create moisture in your house, apart from the bodies in it breathing, will be the cooking. So how do you ventilate your cooking appliance and your shower? So how do you ventilate the bathroom? If you haven't got a fan in the bathroom, make sure they open the windows after you've had your shower. Keep the door shut until it's gone. So there's some simple things that you can do that improve things, and certainly even in the middle of winter, opening the windows to get the fresh air. Pull the curtains back. There's far too many homes in Dunedin that you drive past in the middle of winter that still got the curtains pulled, whether it's because they're watching telly or quite what, I don't know, but let the sun shine in.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is good to have your window open during the day, but obviously as soon as the sun goes down, you close it again and draw your curtains.
So the easy one to do, the no-brainer, is the ceiling insulation. So you put that in first and put in somewhere between R3 and R5 into the ceiling. Underfloor is also a no-brainer if you've got access to the underfloor. So if you've got a raised floor and can get under there, then that's the next one you put in. After that, you tackle the walls and the windows. A leaking house is a bit like a bucket of water, and if you've got a hole somewhere, then the heat will leak out. That's not entirely true. You do get some advantages if you just do the ceiling and the floor, but if you want a genuinely warm home, you need to insulate the whole lot. To give you a rough idea, if you just insulate the ceiling, you can probably expect about a 0.5 degree annual average increase in temperature. If you do all of the ceiling, floor and walls to the old New Zealand standard, which was R3 and single glazing, you get about a 1 degree increase in temperature. And if you go to the new standard, you'd probably expect 1.5 degrees increase in annual average temperature. So unfortunately in Dunedin, you really need to get up to the new standard to get a healthy home.
And you get to a point where insulating the ceiling and under the floor, you fill those holes in. But doing double glazing often is out of the cost range of most people. It becomes more cost effective to put in more heat. And it's the question is how you put that heat in.
After the break on Healthy Homes, we assess some of the benefits of options some local heating professionals provide. Active Furnishers Limited, home of quality service with superior product and an in-house design team who are always happy to advise and create an imaginative solution for you. Active Furnishers Limited, part of Dunedin's design history. Davies Heat & Cool have a proud tradition of delivering world-class heating, ventilation and air conditioning solutions to residential and commercial clients in Dunedin. Family owned and operated, heating Dunedin for over 100 years. Davies Heat & Cool. Pellet fires are growing in popularity in Otago, with people who want a clean and efficient form of home heating. The sight of a burning flame without the problems of chopping, stacking and carting wood around is a winner. Pellet fires, so easy, so efficient. For over 35 years, Roslyn Mowers and Heating have been selling and servicing outdoor power equipment and are well established in home heating, installing wood fires. Call in and meet the friendly team. Roslyn Mowers and Heating, 150 Kaikorai Valley Road. Now on Healthy Homes, we assess some of the benefits of options some local heating professionals provide.
Heat pumps give you a factor of about 3. So you use 3 times less electricity to get the same amount of heating as you would with a resistive heater. So they're pretty good.
You can't just put any type of ventilation system in a home. That's where we come in, and our guys are all qualified heating and ventilation guys. We've got a design team that can design it all and do it properly.
They will make an appointment with us for one of our representatives to come out and have a look, or they might just ring up on the phone and we'll go out. And we always like to go out, just like we don't guess them or anything like that. So we measure the room up, the windows, the walls, everything. When we do a heat calculation, add it all together, see how much heat the room needs when it's, say, the worst case scenario, maybe freezing outside, to get the temperature you want inside.
A heat pump's probably the best solution, you know, because you're moving air around through the heat pump and round through the bedrooms and down the hallway, or if it's a living area, through the living area or whatnot. So that's probably the most economical way of moving a lot of air and ridding a house of moisture.
Like if you put one in a hallway, which we've done, we had a good popular one that was 7 kilowatt, and we put a lot of those in hallways of big houses, and they just about heat the whole house. So when you heat up the air, the humidity drops and the air can hold more moisture, so you're effectively dehumidifying.
To be honest, we mostly use a heat pump just because it's easier and you turn it on and it's instant heat.
So we measure it up and size it up correctly and do a heat loss calculation, calculate how many kilowatts they need at 0 degrees so that they can maintain a constant 20 degrees, and that's very important. And obviously we sell Daikin air conditioning equipment, which is, you know, the premium brand. In our eyes, we've been selling it since, I think Peter's been selling it since about 94. And if anything was any good, he'd be selling it by now, so he's stuck with Daikin right the way through, and Daikin's improvements and their equipment's just got better and better.
Slowly improve better. They work at better lower temperatures. When it's lower temperatures outside, when we first started they went to -5, then 10, and I think we're down to -15 now, that they guarantee they'll work on heating.
Our guys are qualified, you know, we're not just electricians putting in heat pumps. We're all qualified heating engineers, and if we want something wired, then we get an electrician to do that, you know. Yeah. And come back at, you know, service and repair and everything. All our guys are qualified, so they know how to look after the units. You know, they know all about the technical side of repairing them. So we do all warranty claims for all brands as well.
Wood fires in general, all of our studies have shown that people with wood fires have the warmest houses of all. That's because they have a very large output.
Obviously we're focusing on wood fires, and in our view a wood fire probably gives the most kilowatts of heat output for expenditure. And it's something that I believe is a very comforting thing to look at in terms of warmth. We've been, probably the human race has been cooking and warming around fires since we came on this earth. So to me it's very obvious that a fire is a fantastic means of staying warm, but it also has the visual comfort of flame activity.
Benefits of the wood burner, it does get the house warmer, I find.
We generally always want to visit the home so that we can have a look at the size, the configuration of the house, what any particular issues are, whether it's a damp home. We would look at whether an insert into an existing fireplace is the best option, or a freestanding fire, and also very importantly the size of the fire for the area that our client would like to heat. We explain that all the options that are available. We give a quote, and we also make all the arrangements for the building consent, and we do the installation ourselves. So we essentially sort of take our clients right through the entire process, and it's at the stage where when we're finished it's just ready to light the match and crank the fire up, as it were. We also give open advice or friendly advice if we feel that a fire, on rare occasions when it isn't the best option, then we're certainly quite happy to give that information to our clients as well.
Pellet fires are great. You have a hopper system, so they're automatically fed.
One of the benefits of pellet fires is they have a very long life, the actual fire itself.
It's very clean. it provides very good heat.
When we go to people's homes and have a chat about heat, it's about, one of the problems I have is I walk into someone's home and I don't live there, they do. So it's actually getting an understanding of how they live in their home. Do they all sit around TV at night and watch TV? Do they go off and do different things? Where is it that they want the heat, and when do they want that heat? As people move away from the concept of a wood burner, which takes some period of time to wind up and get the heat out, they're moving into the concepts that both heat pumps and pellet fires have, of being able to have them on a timer, so you can have your fire come on at 6 o'clock in the morning, so when you get up at 7 it's nice and warm, and vice versa. And you can do things such as tell your fire to heat your room, say from 4 o'clock, but only if the room temperature is below 15 degrees.
And look, I think that there are different ways of actually getting to this, to the solution that will come from different angles.
We really need to find the solution that suits their budget, their situation, and also find something that works decoratively. And to be honest, you know, some situations you can't actually fit up into the space, the scenario that you'd like. So it's a very practical problem-solving issue.
So if someone comes to see us and they've got issues with their home, or they're wanting some ideas of how they can make it feel a bit cosier and warmer, we'd first start by actually coming and visiting. That's always a good start. Have a walk around the home, get to know the client, and get to know their likes and dislikes, as well as how the areas feel.
Yeah, the age of the home, the what condition the house is in, so if the windows have a good seal or not. A lot of the cold air just comes through the pane of glass, so anything that you can put in front of that pane of glass, from just to stop that coming through, is going to make a huge difference.
So we have to provide that with layers on the window, because it's layers that trap the air and stop the cold coming in and keep the warmth in there. And it's the air between either fabrics or different sorts of blinds that will do that job.
A happy customer at the end of the day makes my day worthwhile.
There's quite a few benefits. So we sort of look at it more from a respiratory health point of view, but with better respiratory health, so less asthma, less allergies, fewer infections, there's going to be fewer people requiring hospitalisation, fewer people having to go visit their GPs, less time off work or school, and that's going to have benefits for everybody. Yeah. And the other thing is, if you've got a home that's warm and dry, using efficient source of heating, you're going to be paying a lot less in energy costs, which means that money can be used towards other things like food and transport. So you'd be better off overall.
Let's deal with the issue of old cold homes, and for Dunedin in particular, and there will be ways in which people can more broadly contribute to that aim, and particularly helping those for whom there are significant cost barriers. Yeah.
Thanks for watching Healthy Homes Heating Special. Now you should be better informed on how to make your home warm and healthy, and have a better awareness of the options for heating your home.